little buns, it is Steph. Welcome back to my home. I have some advice for you today, especially if you are a trans person, but really anybody of any background, I think could stand to hear this. There is so much pressure on women, especially trans women, but really everybody, to behave in a way that suits what their gender is perceived as. So for example, women are expected to behave in a way that's considered feminine, and men are expected to behave in a way that's considered masculine, and non-binary people are just completely excluded from the whole narrative. But I'm here to tell you the truth about femininity, because that's my experience, but really this applies to masculinity as well. So if you're a man that feels pressured to behave a certain way based on the fact that you're a man, but you don't want to behave that way, this could help you as well. Let's all talk about it. Because it's my background and my experience, I want to reach trans women especially, because I know exactly what they're going through when they click on a video that says secrets of how to be feminine, or how to be feminine, or the importance of being feminine, or whatever it is. There was a time during my transition, at the beginning of my transition, where I could not fathom the idea of wearing a t-shirt, of wearing a sleeveless shirt, anything that was considered not super feminine. So it had to be decorative, embellished, a skirt, a dress, dripping in jewelry, whatever. It had to be super, super, super feminine. Otherwise, I felt like I was not going to be respected or taken seriously. Let's talk about that first. The need to be respected by people that are going to have conditional respect, right? We behave in a way to please other people, which point blank is bad. That's never good for yourself. Are you living in a way that serves yourself, or are you living in a way that serves the comfort of people around you? If it's the second one, I would say there's a need for adjustment in the way that you view your life. I used to have a lot of insecurity about my musculature, about the shape of my body. And quite frankly, it hasn't changed that dramatically in the places that I was insecure about, which were my shoulders and my arms. The difference is I love them now, and they're not physically any different, but the way I think of them and the way I view myself has completely changed. And that's what I want to impart on you today about this idea of femininity or masculinity, about the need for your body to look a certain way in order to measure up to a standard. Those standards are bullshit, okay? I don't know when it happened or how it happened, but at some point during my transition, it just kind of clicked in me that I do not have to perform. I'm not an actor. I'm not a circus animal, which, you know, they shouldn't even be in the circus anyway. I am a person, right? So are you. And the way you behave should be natural to you. It should come naturally. It shouldn't feel like you're putting something on. And maybe when you begin transitioning, if you are a trans person, you're going to feel the need to perform to a certain extent. And I understand that, you know, you're adjusting your mannerisms, for example, or you're training your voice, or whatever it may be. There's going to be that period of adjustment where you're going to be trying to figure out the way you want to portray yourself. And that can last a week, it can last years. For me, it lasted probably about 1.5 years or 2 years, where I didn't really understand that I was complete without clothes, without performance, without embellishment. And it was at that moment when I realized that I'm complete without any ornaments on my body, that I was comfortable, and that I believed I am who I am supposed to be. Let's be real about femininity and masculinity. They're not real. There is nothing about being born with a vagina, for example, that makes you suddenly like pink, like skirts, like doing your makeup, like having long hair. Nothing. There's nothing connected to that. Being born with a vagina means you're being born with a vagina. That's all it means. Doesn't even mean you're a woman. Being born with a penis does not mean you like trucks, mud, and rock and roll. It just means you're born with a penis. That's all it means. Doesn't even mean you're a dude. Because quite frankly, let's say, just for the sake of, because I know there's gonna be some confusion there, let's say you are a man, okay? If you're watching and you are a man and you're confused about that point, let's explore. If you are in a car accident and your genitals are destroyed, are you suddenly no longer a man just because you don't have a penis anymore? Or is it that you're a man because you are one and it's not attached to any body part of yours? Would you suddenly become a woman if you got in an accident and your penis was destroyed? I don't think you would. If you're a woman that doesn't understand, if you have a vagina, you get in a car accident, it's destroyed. Just for the sake of the hypothetical, would you stop being a woman? No, absolutely not. You are your gender because you are your gender. Your genitals, really not that big of a factor, and the fabric you put on your body or the way you present yourself is absolutely not a factor in determining who you are as a person. It's a way to express who you are, absolutely, and you should embrace that. And that is, to me, the goal. And expressing who you are with varying degrees of femininity and masculinity in your appearance is a great way to showcase your personality. And I think that's beautiful. But it's really sad when there are millions of people, literally probably every single person on the planet feels pressured, whether it's a tiny bit of pressure or a lot of pressure, to behave in a certain way based on gendered expectations. Even people that want to reject that pressure still feel that pressure. I still feel that pressure, and I absolutely am against it, but I know it's there, I feel it, and it's a conscious effort every day to say, no, it doesn't matter if that person likes me. It doesn't matter if that person's comfortable. It doesn't matter if that person thinks my arms are too big. It doesn't matter if that person has any opinion about me, because the only opinion that matters about you is your own. And that is the truth. So when you spend all of this time striving for this unobtainable measure of femininity that is so unreachable, that's being perpetuated by influencers all over social media every single day, myself included, I'm sure. It's not even something you have to be intentional about. It's just the nature of being observed or being an observer, especially in the age of social media. But what I encourage you to do is, if you are considered to be an influencer, or if you have a following on social media, try your best to challenge those expectations in ways that make you more comfortable with the way you present yourself. So for example, you share a lot about, I don't know, lifestyle. You're a lifestyle influencer on Instagram. Maybe make a post about the way you express yourself through your clothes and how you shouldn't be restricted based on expectations of others. It can be that simple. You don't even have to bring up femininity or masculinity if you don't want to. If it does not apply in your life, in your social circle, to have conversations about gender like that, you don't have to go all the way there. You can simply say, hey, it's okay for me to not look super feminine sometimes, or it's okay if I want to experiment with some things that maybe are a bit feminine if I'm a dude. You can say those things without having to go into a super deep rabbit hole of trans issues. That's okay. It can really be very simple, I promise. And if you are not an influencer of any kind, which is the majority of people on the planet, be very conscious of what is being fed to you on social media or on TV or in movies about gender, about the expectations of the way you portray yourself based on gender. Be conscious of it and reject things that make you uncomfortable. By all means, if you want to be super feminine, that's not a problem. Nobody's saying that right now. But if you feel pressured to be super feminine and you don't really want to be, maybe some days you do, maybe some days you don't, you should have the option to express yourself in the way that you want to. And I know that you have the power to express yourself in a way that's comfortable for you, because there is no greater discomfort than feeling like you don't look like yourself. And I know that very well. And for trans people, like myself, it can even feel there is that discomfort with your body or your image before you transition, for example. But then there's also a discomfort that can occur afterwards. If I was wearing a skin-tight, tiny, skimpy gold dress and some strappy high heels with a stiletto and like delicate, cute, I would feel so uncomfortable. That would not be me expressing who I am on any level. Maybe I'd look hot, I don't know, but I feel like I'd rather present in a way that I feel is hot, that I feel I like. And that's what I want for everybody, of all genders, of all backgrounds, of all lifestyles. Because the second you stop second guessing your appearance is when you can fully be in the moment and experience things and be yourself. When you're not so focused on what your appearance is because you're comfortable with it, you can express yourself in other ways. But for example, if I was wearing that tiny little gold dress and strappy heels, I would feel like I had to behave in a certain way to match that aesthetic that isn't natural to me. And I think a lot of people perform that on a daily basis. I think trans people are the least performative about gender sometimes. I think they're the most honest about gender, and they can be very expressive in an honest way. But I think a lot of people that aren't trans feel so limited and so restricted. And so whether you're trans or not, I want you to try your best to challenge the things that make you uncomfortable about your clothing, about your image, and I want you to try to make them something that you're comfortable with. No matter what style that is, no matter what expectations people place on you, you should prioritize your comfort with your body first. That comes first. And of course, there's lots of cultures, subcultures, religions, situations in which that might be dangerous, impossible, or anything else. But I would say take every opportunity you can to be aware of what would make you comfortable, to pursue that in private if you have to, and if you can, or if it feels like you need to, leave that situation where you feel restricted to have a life where you can feel okay, and you can feel like you're expressing your true self at all times. That does not even have to be a gender thing, that can be anything. I hope this has helped in some way. If you came here looking for advice on how to walk or talk or behave, I'm sorry that I don't have that for you, but I don't think that's constructive in the end. I don't think that will build you into a person that's happier with yourself. Of course, there are situations in which you might have to perform a certain way to be safe. That's important, and there are lots of resources on YouTube to help you with that. I recommend, if you need them, that you do look for them. They're there, I promise you. I've done videos like that in the past. But I just wanted to take 10 or 15 minutes of your day to encourage you to be your truest self, even if it means other people are a little bit uncomfortable. I love you so much. Until next time, just remember, you have the power to control your own life. You are the writer of your story. I love you so much. I will see you again soon. Bye.